The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
And belly on up to the 9-foot homemade oak bar right here in my basement in Evergreen Park. Pour yourself a cold one, another week, and it is the EP Podcast. 30 minutes of good for Evergreen Park and the surrounding area, and it's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. Our good friends over there at the corner of 95th and Pulaski in that iconic building are dedicated to supporting this area with great banking tools and friendly service. They are a true community bank, providing this neighborhood with customized financial solutions like total access checking, an account with free ATMs nationwide. That means you go to any ATM, anywhere, no matter where the fee is, they put the money back in. They cover you, so it's free. Plus, when you open up a total access checking account today, you get a $300 bonus. Open online at bankevergreenpark.com/total access/EP. $100 required to open. Requirements to qualify. Must use link to apply. Member FDIC. We're heading out to 50 Acre Park today. We're not only going to check in with an Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce event that happened over the weekend, we're also bringing back our Eating Evergreen Park segment, but with a twist. We're leaving the EP, going just outside of it in the Beverly neighborhood to check out a restaurant. But first, sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar, we've got our good friend Glenn Pniewski. Welcome back. I like it better when you're here than when you're on the phone.
I much prefer it here anyway. It makes me feel like a real radio guest. You know, excellent job on your parade podcast.
Thank you.
That was, you did good on that. So.
You know what? I remember when we did it back in 2019 and we had the big tent and I brought out all the equipment and stuff like that. And it was fun because people came over. But one of the more frustrating things was being able to talk to people because, they're driving their float or they can't really stop for very long. So I went with the mobile microphone so I could walk with them in the route and then go back to where our tent was. And I love that. I think I would do that more. I thought that was great.
It was a good parade.
Yeah.
They were a little downsized this year because
but the fireworks were upsized.
Yeah, no, there were like 3 or 4 specialty units that had to pull out of the parade the last couple of days because they couldn't staff it, illness or whatever. I did not make it over to the fireworks, but I'm only 4 blocks away from them, and I heard them. And as I'm sitting on my porch listening, I'm getting texts from people I know saying, these are the best fireworks we've seen in years.
I heard you had a new group that did it, and they kicked butt. That was a heck of a show. The problem is now you've set the bar.
Well, and we had a contract with another organization that was a long-term. It was like a 7-8 year contract, I believe. And that ended, I believe, last fall.
So this is all new. That's why they were different. That's interesting.
And I think people were in the mood for a good show after 2 years of not having this thing. So, I mean, the parade cooked, from... and I thought it was interesting that the rain, we rained a little bit, I think, earlier in the day, and then we have had a history of good luck with that parade as far as not raining.
You had a nervous mayor looking at the skies when I was talking to her. You can, when she's talking on that thing, she's also looking up and she's like, I'm hoping this holds off. And I think for first parade back too, excellent job. You guys, answered the bell. I thought it was awesome. What is going on though? I'm going to ask you this. I saw it on my Facebook feed first. I think that's the first time in a long time I learned about something and it wasn't from somebody coming on the show. What happened, Glenn Pniewski? How did I not know you were having a food truck festival in Klein Park or Circle Park or whatever you call it? Like, this is coming up in August. It looks like on the 11th. It's a Thursday night event in Evergreen Park.
Yeah, this is I believe a pet project of our mayor.
Okay.
And, she just wants to get people to use the parks. And so what they are doing, and she can explain all this, I think, if you have her on sometime soon.
All right. If I got to go to her, I'll go to her.
There you go. But they will have some food trucks in there. They got a couple lined up already. And then they've got the fella from Beverly Records coming in to spin some vinyl. So it'll be a nice, and what I like about it is the fact that it's a Thursday night. Because what I notice is you get a lot of these Saturday or weekend events and people in the middle of summer are on vacation.
Or they've got like travel, baseball or softball or whatever. There are so many things that people are involved in on the weekends in the summer. I mean, we even notice it when we release the shows. We can see different listening patterns that whereas during the fall, winter, and spring, people get into a regular rotation. We may still get the same amount of listeners at the end of the week, but we see it happen differently because people's schedules change in the summer. So I love the Thursday night idea.
Well, and also because of the fact that people may be away on a given weekend, but then it was like our show that we did last month. We had to do the Thursday night show. Well, initially you're thinking, oh, this isn't going to draw well. But you might get people looking at it and saying, hey, we can't make it this weekend, but hey, it's Thursday night.
Right.
We're home. We're home. We'll go over there.
I'm going to be at that. I can't wait for it.
I'll be there.
I'll be a big pig. I'm going to stop at every food truck.
You're not kidding. Oh, I know, yeah.
All right. Well, I will check in with the mayor and get more about that
I believe
in the
that
coming
starts
weeks.
about 5 o'clock. It'll be fun.
All right. Very good. What do you have going on over at the rec department?
Oh, my gosh. First of all, I got to give credit where it's due. They're about 2 weeks left in their day camp that the rec department does. They have got that thing so well organized, so well regimented. They're having so much fun over there. And I mean, from the top, they have the teachers are the supervisors, but the counselors are kids just out of high school or in college, doing a great job. I mean, they have it so regimented. They got those kids moving, and they've had water days in Circle Park with the water slides. Yesterday, we're talking Thursday. They were supposed to go to Brookfield Zoo. That kind of fell apart because of the school bus mix-up. Right. So they got on the horn real quick and transferred that into a trip over to Haunted Trails, which worked out beautifully. And I think the kids probably had more fun there because could you imagine walking around Brookfield Zoo and it's 92 degrees?
No, I know. And I'm going to tell you, I've never had a kid in the summer camps. Okay, I don't know why it never happened. I think it was because the other two were so close in age, they were never bored. Right. And I wasn't working from home at the time, and we had different schedules, just the way that things worked out. But now I have 2 teenagers, and my youngest is 7. And the teenagers disappear constantly in the summer. They've got friends. One of them drives. Like the 7-year-old we knew he was going to be sitting around this summer. He's not there every day. He's there 2 days a week. He does like the partial one.
The mini one, yeah.
And he loves it. I'm going to tell you something. He loves it.
Yeah.
He looks forward to it. He puts his little shirt on. He tells me what they're going to do. He's doing like a magic show today. He had to come up with a magic trick. And I'm going to tell you something right now. It's good for him. And so if you missed out on it this year, definitely think about doing it next summer because I love his reaction when he comes home. I think it's great. It gives us a break. Well, he's out of the house and I don't have to entertain him.
Well, I like having the community center full of kids. I mean, I'm on the other side, on the OCS side, but you just recognize all these kids, or they come down the halls to go into the auditorium to play, and they've been the rec department, and then Kelly is the director of that day camp. She's just done a phenomenal job. Excellent job. But we're working on the fall program book. There had been a question about where we were going to put some of our youth programs that would have normally been at the activity center, but that has been solved, and I think that is an announcement. Again, probably from our mayor about that. But
I already heard from a few people already that it was a venue that was very close by, another utilization of one of the many churches here in Evergreen Park. But I'll wait until she's on the show. Or in fact, I think Norm Anderson and Mark Marzullo, the village trustees that always come in here, and Norm always tries to beat Mark in trivia, and Norm always loses. I hear they're going to be on the show in the next week or so on the EP podcast. That's a reason to subscribe. Make sure if you're listening through the eppodcast.com, you pick one of those subscription options, click on it, and use one of those many podcast apps. That way you never miss an episode. If we do a Friday special, whatever it is, you don't want to just rely on the Facebook post. Glenn Pniewski is going to hang out here for a moment. We have a local restaurant review, and we're checking in at the EP driving range as well. And we will talk to Glenn more about everything going on in the next couple of months with the rec department and other departments in Evergreen Park. This is the EP Podcast. You should see the list of things that Glenn has to talk about later on here in the show. There's always something going on in Evergreen Park. I was at the carnival for 2 nights this weekend. Volunteered with the pull tabs, and also I tended bar basically for like 6 hours. I mean, nothing fancy. I'm just handing out big giant cans of beer, but it was a lot of fun. It was good to see all the folks that came up and said hi. That was a good time. Before I even got up there on Friday night, I bumped into some other friends, including my friends from Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Reed and Bridget have been doing this since 2014. Cool Clouds helps you try to quit smoking. Quitting smoking is hard. They didn't open a vapor shop because they wanted to get people into vaping. And Reed's explained this before on the show. They got the vape shop opened up to help people get off of cigarettes. They have a full taster bar. It is definitely a friendly atmosphere for somebody who stops in like myself every once in a while who never smoked and never vaped. But I see what they're doing in there. What they're trying to do is make a positive impact. They also have CBD products. I've tried those before. They're good. They work. They relieve the aches and the pains. You can check them out online and see everything that they do, coolcloudsvapor.com, or get over to the store at 3837 West 95th Street. But Reed and Bridget were up there hitting some golf balls at the driving range, little Chamber of Commerce event. I also sat down with Chamber President Sara Klein. She explained what was going on this past Friday and what is coming up on the 5th of August that all of you may be interested in. I'm sitting at the golf links at the driving range here in Evergreen Park along 91st Street. I got Sara Klein. She's the president of the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce. We're only a couple of weeks away here now from the big chamber golf outing, and you got folks out here at the driving range for a little mini event leading up to it. You guys are making this into basically just a build before your big golf outing, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we got some fun stuff going on. We're going to have a competition of who can hit the 100-yard. We got some garbage cans, which you can chip it into. There you go.
Yeah, you're having a chipping contest into the garbage cans?
Yeah. I was like, that's a creative way, but that's going to be our chip competition. So, and we're having a putting over there. Yeah. So
you got a putting competition, you got a chipping competition.
Driving.
And the driving competition is it going to be? Are you going to measure the furthest hit, or are you just going to try to hit the sign out there?
No, see, we're going to have yellow balls, and you're going to write your initials, and the closest person to the 100 yards is going to be the winner.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it out here. That's great. So how's the event shaping up? I'm looking forward to it at Fountain Hills on the 5th of August. I know I'm in on a foursome right now with Mike Thauer of Country Insurance, and we're bringing my dad out there. I don't know who the fourth is yet. Like Mike and I have decided.
For someone here, Chris.
Are you getting in, Sarah?
Yeah. I mean, it's like where you can.
How's that handicap going?
Right? Oh yeah, it's real good. 20 is what I learned.
Then you're definitely on my team if you have a 20 handicap. You still haven't figured this out yet. Okay, but how's it shaping up? We're looking forward to it. We got a good response. We're gonna have a big day out there, and I know we got barbecue too.
Yeah, we're having a barbecue. You still have time to sign up, but we are running out of spots. We're almost at our capacity, so good turnout. But we are actually doing a foursome instead of 280. You can do a foursome for 250. So there's still time. Grab 3 of your friends. Come on up. But again, the spots are running out.
That's awesome. And you can buy individual as well and get placed on a team. I know that you can do that. Again, Fountain Hills on the 5th of August. Sara Klein will be out there. I'll be out there. A lot of people. A lot of the dignitaries and socialites of Evergreen Park.
They might show up. I mean, you just don't know.
Right. And you got barbecue, and I'm sure there'll be a little bit of imbibing, a little partaking on a Friday afternoon.
There will be, as well as we'll have some baskets with some booze to win too. So come on in. Like, whatever it takes to get you in, we got it. I heard our baskets are super fun. The raffles will be awesome. You're guaranteed to get something very fun. So come on down. Like I said, it starts at 1 o'clock, registration at 12. And like I said, if you do not have a foursome, that's okay. If you come alone, we will put you with a foursome. You will have a lot of fun.
Right. Register in advance at evergreenparkchamber.org. And Sara Klein knows how to throw a party. Enjoy this event today.
Yep, I am. Everyone's out here. It's a good turnout. So like I said, the golf outing is going to be double the fun.
All right, this week we are trying a place outside of Evergreen Park. I'm gonna have to rename this because it used to be Eating Evergreen Park, but I can't help myself. I have to stop into Americanos. Normally, AJ Castillo, we find a restaurant, and then somewhere down the line, they start running some ads on the EP podcast. They want people to come find them from Evergreen Park or in Evergreen Park. We did this a little backwards because I know people have heard me talking about Americanos, and I was telling you recently that I feel bad because I've never actually sat down and done the whole 9 yards with the restaurant review at Americanos. First off, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. So take me through, first of all, why you started a place. I mean, everybody has designs on opening a bar or a restaurant. It's like that big dream. I have buddies of mine who are still one of these days we're going to open up a bar. And I'm like, it's a lot more complicated after I talk to all these guys that own them than I think most people think. So how did you get into it?
I think I always wanted to be an entrepreneur at heart. I went to the University of Illinois, studied political science. Was kind of just a class clown, but definitely wanted to become an entrepreneur. And when I got out of school, I kind of started my own hat company. And long story short, in order to pay the bills, I started working at my buddy's restaurant and started learning the kitchen under him. Just being Mexican-American, growing up on the south side of Chicago. My mother loved to cook. She was always cooking in the kitchen. So I always definitely loved eating. I'm a little bit of a pudgier guy, so you can tell that I definitely enjoy a nice meal. So I was working for my friend operating his food truck, learned the game, took what I knew and made it my own, started my own. That went on for about a year, and then after that I kind of pivoted and started working on heading towards opening my own restaurant.
All right, so I want to talk tacos today with you because I've always loved your taco menu. I think it's one of the reasons why I came walking in here the first time. I had friends of mine tell me about the menu because it's not just steak or chicken, right? It's not like, I mean, I like a good fish taco. I used to live out on the West Coast, and you make a great one. But there's staples that people will have when you're approaching a taco, especially on the South Side. You have an eclectic menu. The brisket taco. Tell me about this one.
The brisket's one of my favorite, just because it's cooked slow. We braise it. We clean it, number one. Rub it down with some of my favorite spices. We throw it in the oven, let it slow cook till it gets real juicy and tender. Then we chop it up, into small pieces like taco meat, and we throw it on the flat grill. And because the meat is so fatty, when it hits that flat top, it just gets a real nice char on it, and it's just it's just so juicy and tender and super flavorful.
What I like about it is not only the flavor, but the jalapeno. You're using like a pickled jalapeno on this one right here. And to me, I like it hot, but I don't want it to become unbearable. I want the heat to be part of the flavors of what I'm eating. And I think you get that with this taco.
Yeah, definitely. Jalapenos, they have Scovilles that range in heat, so they're definitely tricky. Depending on the season, they'll come in spicier than other times. But we pickle our jalapenos with apple cider vinegar and sugar and water. They're all homemade pickled jalapenos. They are definitely a little bit sweeter, and it goes with the brisket really well.
The one that I consider to be the hottest is this guy right here. Your pork taco, I know you write on there Americanos hot sauce is on there, so I should know it's going to be spicy. I see the pineapple and I go, okay, well, this is going to be a really cool flavor, and it is. But sometimes I sit there and I eat it and I go, thank God for the pineapple. And the fact that I kept something that isn't as hot to follow it up with, because this thing cooks in your mouth.
The pork is definitely spicy because we use our Americanos hot sauce, which is a morita pepper it's basically a jalapeno at its ripest state that is smoked and dehydrated. We rehydrate those and put in some other ingredients, but those definitely pack a punch. They're almost like chipotle peppers, but a little bit different. And the Americanos hot definitely is a little spicy.
They don't fall apart on me. You know how many times you go and you get something like a taco or something and it's all over your hands, you're reaching for a fork? These things hold together. I mean, it's the perfect amount of whatever it is, the meat, the toppings, everything for the tortilla shell. It's not too little, it's not too much. I mean, is that something you train your cooks to do?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely an art to, making a taco.
Because they look pretty.
Yeah, sometimes, they look great, and sometimes people want to overstuff them with meat. I'm a meat guy, but there definitely is a ratio you need for tortilla, meat, and then your toppings.
All right, so I want to get now here to my favorite one. It's a staple. If I sit down and I try to sample a couple of them, I always come to the pork belly taco. I think your pork belly tacos, in my opinion, and I hate to insult any of your other tacos by saying this, one of my, if not my favorite taco on the South Side right now to eat. I talked about it on Southside Pod maybe a year ago when I first found it. I've talked about it on this show before. There's just something about it. I don't know if it's the chipotle slaw. It's the barbecue that you add on there. I don't know if it's the way that offsets the jalapenos, but it's the perfect mix of not only flavors, but the heat and also something that seems to cool it off as I'm eating it.
Yeah, the pork belly taco definitely was one of my favorite tacos on the menu. As much as I love doing traditional authentic, I like to kind of put a twist on authentic traditional tacos, and pork belly was one I could definitely play with, and I kind of wanted to take authentic Mexican recipes and mix them with traditional barbecue. So definitely had we braised the pork belly, ancho barbecue sauce, which kind of almost has like a mole flavor in a sense, but definitely closer to the barbecue side. But we definitely took your classic barbecue recipes, added the ancho chili pepper, and definitely just like had this incredible flavor. And then the sweet chipotle slaw. We take your average creamy kind of mayonnaise slaw, added some chipotle pepper sauce to it, and it's just a combination of sweet and spicy, which is my favorite kind of taste on the taste buds that you can experience. Followed up with a little bit of queso fresco cheese, which gives you kind of that creamier to go with to go with the sauce, to kind of soak the sauce up. Then we got some pickled jalapenos for a little bit more spice on top of that, followed by cilantro, which cilantro is kind of hit or miss with some people, but I gotta have some cilantro on my tacos.
We grow it in the backyard of my house. Okay, that's one that we have around all the time here, and I only mentioned a couple of them. And when you look at your full menu, and even things that are not tacos on your menu, the amount of different things that you're either slow cooking or you're preparing for a long time, there's a lot of food prep in a place like this. I mean, to me, that's the thing that kind of sticks out, is that you want to do it all a certain way, so you must have to do an awful lot of prep ahead of time to make sure you get all these different flavors available to everybody.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of prep involved. However, if you're somewhat organized and know how to put something together, you can definitely have an efficient kitchen. Yeah, it took a little bit of training, a little bit of working in some fine dining restaurants.
You're right here near the corner of 111th and Western. If people haven't made it out, you should definitely check it out. It is worth the trip just outside of the EP to go there. I know we also have people that live in Beverly, Morgan Park, who listen to the EP podcast, and I'm sure they've already found you before, but if they haven't been in here recently, give them a try. Americanos. Hit me with the website real quick for everybody.
It's americanosrestaurant.com.
You would have thought I would have remembered that. AJ, thanks so much. Thanks for feeding me. Excellent job.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
It is now time for your EP Podcast Bulletin Board, brought to you by Mike Thauer, your country financial representative. For auto, home, life, business insurance, reach out to Mike right here in Evergreen Park, a great guy who takes care of the insurance needs of this household. I had to call him up and tell him, hey, I got a 16-year-old, needs to be on the car insurance. Mike took care of it in the most painless way possible. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. Enjoy what we've been enjoying here in the Lanuti house for years. Reach out to Mike, give him a call, 708-425-1559, or stop in at 3923 West 95th Street. The Evergreen Park Farmers Market is going strong. Remember, it's every Thursday from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. in Yukich Field at 89th and Kedzie. Fruits, vegetables, flowers. There's a couple of good food trucks that stop in there. It's really kind of a fun time. Hang out, see your neighbors. I almost regret it whenever I miss the farmers market because I didn't remember it was Thursday. Meanwhile, the village is hiring crossing guards. We need them. If you would like to serve the community and help keep the children of Evergreen Park safe as they go to and from school, you must be 18 years or older. It is a part-time position, and you can go to the village website at evergreenpark-ill.com/jobs to learn more and apply. Over the weekend at the MHR Carnival, I ran into my friends from Sid Sauce. That's the husband and wife that are growing the peppers and making the sauce right here in Evergreen Park, locally sourced. Everything from the moment the peppers are put into the ground until it ends up as delicious hot sauce is controlled, so you know exactly what you're getting. And I made my first order online at sidsauce.net. It's the easiest way to learn about all the different flavors. It's the only place I get my hot sauce, sidsauce.net. AAA of Evergreen Park is having a Touch a Truck event. Get up close and personal with all those big trucks and community vehicles. Let the kids climb in, explore, touch them, learn all about them. August the 20th, 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. at AAA Car Care, 9154 Southwestern Avenue. If you need more information, 708-459-6777. If you or a loved one have suffered from a fall, you're dealing with a serious illness, you need help around the home, You don't need to leave the home. You have Hibernian Home Care Service, home care with heart, located right here in Evergreen Park. Mary Murphy heads this up, 25 years experience as a registered nurse, fully trained staff, and they're here to help you. Check out all they have to offer at hibernianhomecareservice.com or call Mary 708-634-2450. Glenn Pniewski back down here at the 9-Foot Homemade Oak Bar in the EP podcast. I just had Paisha Allen from the youth department on last week. I know that they have that big historical society, youth department, family bike ride thing that's going to be going on coming up very soon. What's the date on that again, Glenn?
July 30th. Get out your bike, and it's kind of an interesting little trip. Historical Commission itself used to have a little display room over at the community center. They are moving over to the senior center now, where they have literally 3 times the room.
Well, he needs that. George Peso's still running that, right? I don't know who else is on that, but I always think of George. And they've got the old signage, like from over at the plaza, these ginormous things that they can't really show off.
Right.
So the more space they get, the cooler it will be when people want to come and actually see like Evergreen Park's history.
Well, when they did the 125th anniversary a couple of years, of course, they basically emptied the tank and had the whole display up in the auditorium up there. Now I'm sure they would have liked to have kept that going, but he's got huge room down in our lower level. And the thing is, the mayor really wants kids coming through there as part of like school field trips, and they have the room down there to do. He's got what you would call the dining room would be your classroom, in case they want to hold a little discussion ahead of time. And now he's got literally 3 times the room that he had when he had that little place at the community center. So
that's awesome.
In the fall, he's going to have a little grand opening, and so that'll be.
We will have him on and talk about it. He's a fountain of knowledge.
You put a nickel in George, and he doesn't stop.
Yeah, he's 30 minutes right there. I'm not booking any other guests. It's just going to be George talking about the history of Evergreen Park.
They're fun. And over here on the Office of Citizen Services, we got some fun stuff coming up too. Of course, we have the Memories to Go, the village-wide garage sale coming up on September the 10th. A Saturday over at Yukich. And I don't have the cost in front of me, but I think it's
35, outside, 50 indoors or something. Like indoors is inside the Capuano ice rink. How many people do you normally get out to that? I mean, can you ballpark it for me? You get a good amount of tents? I've never been to one, but I'm really interested in it.
Their average is usually about 60 vendor spots.
People set up vendor spots and they're selling
out in the parking lot or in the ice rink there. Oh yeah.
That sounds like a fun day. You can kind of browse
through.
Oh,
and they'll have food there. Yeah. So it's just kind of come in, park, walk through. You're going to find something.
Go find something weird to put in your house.
Yeah.
Or sell something weird out of your house.
If you got to get depending on what you have, that you can make up the table fee really fast.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We have something coming up that we had done in, I believe it was April. This is for our grandparents and the grandkids, an ice cream social, which we're calling our back to school party. I know curses. Who wants to talk about back to school? But it's out there. So on the afternoon of August the 10th, it's a Wednesday from 2 to 4. Grandparents, if you're babysitting that day, bring your grandkids over to the community center and the auditorium. We'll have games out. We'll have ice cream. We're lining up some entertainment. Again,
that's going to be a busy week. You've got the ice cream thing on the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Food truck is on the 11th.
Right.
And I know over on the 13th, the American Legion is doing their car show.
Good.
And they're doing like their whole big party with the jumpies and everything else they're doing. Like that's a busy weekend right there in the middle of August.
There you go.
People should circle. And I know that's a big deal, that the grandparents get to hang with the grandkids get to hang with the grandparents. It's important to have them around each other. It's important to keep grandma and grandpa in the home, nearby. That's why we're lucky, Glenn. Hyatt Home Medical Equipment right here in Evergreen Park on 95th Street. I know you've seen it, the big, beautiful showroom out there. Not only do they help with diabetes control and CPAP machines, and they even have the specialized rooms where you can try out the equipment and make sure you're comfortable with it. They also provide oxygen tanks, aids that can be placed around the bathroom in the home so it's not so much of a fall risk. It keeps those that are getting older or having issues around the home independent and in their home. You name it, they take care of it. They work with the insurance. And if you mention the EP podcast, you get a discount. Check out everything they have to offer online at hhme.com or visit them today. Again, mention the EP podcast, 3518 West 95th Street high-at-home medical equipment. You have these concerts in the park going on all summer long. I haven't made one yet. I'm wondering what the crowds are like. Does it depend on the artist, or is it pretty much the same crowd?
It's the same kind of crowd. Now, what's interesting is on August 5th, a Friday, over at 50 Acre Park, we've got the Smiley Tillman Band coming in, so that's a little different than what we've been
That might
doing.
be my end of the day stop-in, because they have the Chamber of Commerce golf outing going on that day.
We were supposed to have this last year, maybe the year before. And
I had Smiley on the show.
Yeah,
I remember
I think
that.
it rained.
He
That
came
was
on
horrible.
the show. We promoted the whole thing. I talked to him. He was a really interesting guest, and then the thing got canceled.
That was, I think, weather related.
Yeah,
so
I believe that's
we're
what it
glad
was.
to have
Yeah.
him back. So that'll be a big one. And then something you might find interesting on the 27th of August. This is a Saturday from 1 to 4 again at the community center. Remember last year we did the type in?
Yeah.
We're going to merge that with a tune-in. So we're going to have the typewriter display, come in, clack away. And in another room, we're going to have 3 or 4 phonographs set up. You got records at home. You're a collector. Come on in and trade, sell.
Records
and
LPs. Typewriters
we're talking
together.
And
normally enemies, but at this, they'll be friends.
And in a smaller room, we will have a afternoon program of old comedies playing. So yeah, we're calling it our little retro.
What day is that
retro
one?
meet.
I don't want to miss it.
That is Saturday, August the 27th from
Holy
1
cow.
to 4. So,
wow, you're gonna get a wild crowd at that one.
People
are gonna get nuts.
It's collectors.
You got extra security?
It's a casual meetup, and so we will, and it's in the brand new building. Hey, in the heat of August, you're coming into probably the coolest spot in Evergreen Park.
There you go. You have an event and you leaned on, we have air conditioning.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And I think I've got you written down for this. This is later, of course, but Saturday, October 15th, we'll talk about this.
Yeah, that's Oktoberfest, right?
We have, that Oktoberfest is the week before.
Okay.
I'm
coming to that.
I don't have a lot of details on that one.
Don't you try to deny me
yet.
from Oktoberfest.
No. But we will have our Fantasy Fest the following week.
All right. You guys have something going on all the time. And I know you listed over on the Village website, and you guys are nice enough to jump on and talk about it all the time. And it seems like every week I can have somebody on who's maybe got a business in Evergreen Park or around it, and somebody that's got an event going on. And then I've got somebody like you or Paisha who jumps in and gives me a list of things that are going on in Evergreen Park. It's impossible to be bored here. And so you guys are doing a good job.
We're trying to give, all the departments try to give something that might appeal to everyone. Like the type-in tune-in, that may not be for everyone.
Stop yourself, Glenn.
You know what I'm saying?
Please.
We got a nice variety.
That's going to be your
stuff.
biggest event. All right.
Well,
let's
Another show is wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's going to be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nudist basement. And the nudist basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudist basement. Broadcast basement. The nudist basement. The broad basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.